Bora pra luta.
Vamos para a penúltima luta desse BJJ Stars 15. De um lado, o detentor do cinturão, Erich Munis, o brasileiro. Do outro lado, o Adam Wardzinski, já puxando para a guarda. Adam Wardzinski que está vivendo uma temporada iluminada, né? Está no seu prime, com aquele jiu-jitsu, entre aspas, básico, mas muito eficiente. E o Erich Munis já vai ali trabalhando a passagem de guarda, dominou a calça do polonês, vai tentando ir para as costas, mas não deixa de jeito nenhum o Adam Wardzinski. Ambos que participaram na edição número 10 do BJJ Stars, quando tivemos o GP do peso absoluto. O Adam Wardzinski venceu a primeira luta contra o Patrick Gaudio, conseguiu uma finalização. Opa, olha aí, será que vai conseguir passar? Depois acabou perdendo para o Felipe Andrew, e o Erich Munis foi o vencedor desse GP quando ele conquistou o cinturão. Que movimentação, hein, Vitor Dória?
Olha, eu vou ter que dobrar minha língua. Eu falei que eu não via o Erich passar a guarda do Adam e ele praticamente passou. Não passou,
e tá indo pro
mas
braço.
já tá no braço ali, triângulo, já tem tudo ali encaixado. O Erich fez um excelente início de luta, não capitalizou, tá na posição que ele queria, mandou muito bem, porque ele caiu por baixo agora, que é onde ele quer estar, com 2 vantagens na frente.
Sobreviveu esse primeiro ataque o Adam Wardzinski, mas já está 2 vantagens atrás. Que início de luta, hein, Gabriel Baby?
Que início fantástico, cara. Fez a double pull, eu não esperava o Erich subir, subiu.
Foi o que eu falei, eu achei que o Adam fosse subir.
Exatamente. Foi muito bem ali, fez a tentativa de passagem, ganhou uma vantagem, saiu pro braço, não levou a vantagem do braço, porque não esticou o braço do Adam, mas ganhou mais uma vantagem pela segunda passagem de guarda. Eu acho que ele vai querer dobrar a gente, Vitor. Ele veio para finalizar.
Eu tô impressionado com o início de luta do Erich. Muito bom, muito estratégico.
Sair dali pro braço foi surpreendente. O Adam Wardzinski, que é famoso, né, pela sua guardinha de gancho, mas ele por cima também é muita pressão, trabalha sempre ali com o joelhinho espetando, ele até ameaça passar cruzando, acaba sempre indo para montado. Um atleta muito habilidoso também por cima. Temos aí mais de 4 minutos de luta ainda pela frente, muita coisa pode acontecer.
É verdade, e aquela coisa, até hoje eu só vi um cara bagunçar a guarda do Erich ali, que foi o Nicolas Meregali agora no Pan-Americano.
Foi o único.
Passado, retrasado, agora não me lembro, acho que foi passado.
O Erich Munis e o Adam Wardzinski já se enfrentaram, né? O Erich venceu naquela oportunidade, mas era outro momento do Adam Wardzinski, né? Eu acho que hoje ele evoluiu bastante de lá pra cá.
Ele tá com a força de master agora, que ele já passou dos 30. Força de master, o negócio complica, viu?
Cara, mas é impressionante, ó. O Adam não tá conseguindo quebrar as pegadas do Erich. O Erich, onde ele põe a mão, ele segura até a hora que ele quiser.
É isso aí.
O Adam já tentou arrancar aquele braço umas 3 vezes. A raspagem que ele tomou do Erich ali, a raspagem não, né? A passagem de guarda, ele tentou quebrar a pegada na calça, não conseguiu. O Erich tá muito forte ali nas pegadas dele.
Tá muito bem, aquele pé na lapela ali, a desgraça, aquilo ali, essa pegada na lapela que ele faz ali com o pé esquerdo.
Especialista, né?
É impossível se desvencilhar daquilo ali, cara. Ele vai brincando com os ganchos dele agora até a hora que ele quiser.
A perna do cara é muito grande, né, Vitor?
É muito complicado você se desvencilhar dessa guarda. Aí ele sobe a hora que ele quiser.
E ele não deixa o Adam Wardzinski colar, que é o jogo forte do polonês.
O Erich tá olhando assim, ó, bom, o cara tá raspado, eu vou subir daqui a pouquinho e aí já vou cair tentando passar, bagunçando ali
ele já trocou a lapela pra manga.
Isso.
Agora aquele xadrezinho, né, bem estratégico, conseguiu se desvencilhar ali o Adam, mas sobe o Erich.
Aí, Vitor, que a gente achava que ele ia cozinhar mais as posições, não tá acontecendo, não.
Erich 2.0, hein? Tô gostando de ver demais.
E capitaliza mais 2 pontinhos. Agora 2 pontos, mais 2 vantagens a favor do Erich Munis.
O Adam tentou essa guarda no início ali, o Erich tirou a perna muito fácil. Vamos ver como é que vai ser agora.
Aí teoricamente é o jogo do Adam, né? Ele se sente bem, se sente confortável nessa posição, mas tem que combinar com o Erich Munis, né?
Opa, aí ó, derrubadinha dele, olha lá, Marcelinho Garcia.
Olha como é que o Erich tira bem o pé, hein? Tá meio frustrado o Adam Wardzinski.
Ó, isso é uma coisa que é complicado falar. Olha um cara que não frustra, bicho. Vou te falar, esse cara já tomou tanta peia no início de luta
e depois vira,
que nem um doido.
E depois vira.
Às vezes eu acho que ele tá frustrando também, mas eu lembro das coisas que ele já fez, eu falo, não há porcaria nenhuma. Ele tá,
é que aquele braço no início da luta, acho que nem ele imaginava.
Deus, é verdade, é verdade. O Erich tá muito bem mesmo. Vamos ver como é que o Adam vai fazer, porque...
De novo.
Mesma passagem.
Mesma passagem.
É que o Adam, ele vira muito com os apoios, né? Pra não tomar passagem de guarda.
Aconteceu muito isso contra o Roberto Gimenez, né? Quando eles lutaram de kimono. Né? Toda hora o Roberto Gimenez dava esse giro e parava nas costas.
E o Erich, bom estrategista, olha só. Ele ficou por baixo de novo, sem tomar o ponto. Ele espera o Adam virar de 4 apoios.
Balãozão.
Que é isso?
Gosto muito.
Raspou e montou. Aqui tem ponto cumulativo, tá, Romano?
Sinistro demais. Então faz a soma aí pra gente, Gabriel Baby.
Eles até erraram a soma. Era pra estar 9.
Tava 2-0 pro Erich Munis.
Então, mais 7.
Mais 2 da Raspar.
Não, raspou e montou, mais 6, tá certo. Eles tinham colocado 9.
Tinha 2, aí raspou mais 2, montou mais 4.
Isso.
É verdade, tem razão.
Não tinha sido passagem, não,
Tava
Victor.
2-0.
Tava 2-0. Aí raspou mais 2, montou mais 4.
Exato.
Fiquei olhando pra 3 vantagens ali, me confundi a cabeça completa.
Olha como ele sai da guarda X.
Nossa senhora. Bom, claramente o Erich Munis estudou bem o jogo aí do Adam Wardiński, porque ele tem resposta pra tudo, né?
Verdade.
Cara, eu acho que,
agora vai tentar um on-leg ali.
O Erich, ele tem muito recurso, mas o que a gente sempre cobra dele é que ele solte o jogo.
Agora devolveu a raspagem, né?
Isso. E ele tá soltando o jogo agora,
tá
cara.
Solto, cara.
Ele tá lutando do jeito que o povo gosta.
Exatamente.
8-2, né? Conseguiu uma bela raspagem ali o Adam Wardiński. E agora aquele joguinho dele, né? Que a gente comentava do joelhinho, ó.
É ali que ele gosta de estar.
Ali.
Mas é que o Baby falou. As pegadas do Erich só saem dali quando ele quiser.
E agora faltando aí pouco mais de 15 segundos. Fez os 2 pontinhos de honra e vai ficar por isso mesmo. Que performance do Erich, hein? Tá de parabéns. Sinistro demais.
Cara, olha, é isso que ele precisava, é isso que o público queria. Que o Erich solte o jogo.
Muito bom. Erich Munis 2.0 aí pra vocês.
Atenção, Alexandre Seixas de Oliveira. Alexandre Seixas de Oliveira, última chamada com o coordenador mesmo. Última chamada, coordenador 12. Zachary Tyler Ali. Apresente ao coordenador 12. Schauder, apresenta o vereador 8. Gustavo Mike Santos, apresenta o vereador 8. Erich da Silva, a presença do vereador 11. Leonardo Mário, a presença do vereador 1.
Boa, baixinho. Isso. Vamos, Zé. Trocar lá na cabeça, bora. Vem subindo mais. Aí, vem subindo mais, vem subindo mais.
Brenda Larissa Alves, a presença do vereador 10. Carvalho. Última chamada, coordenador 7. Gustavo Marques Santos. Última chamada para a coordenadora 8. Zain Chaudhry. Please report the regular date number 8. Atenção, Sayonara Silva, apresente-se ao coordenador 10. Sayonara Silva, apresente-se ao coordenador 10. Marcos Vinícius de Santos, Ítalo Praia Araújo. A última chamada é a coordenadora 9, Marcos Vinícius de Santos e Ítalo Praia Araújo. Atenção, Bruno Lourenço, foi desclassificado por WO. Bruno Lourenço foi desclassificado por WO, coordenador de número 4. Seixas de Oliveira, última chamada com o coordenador 12. Atenção, absoluto leve. Todos os atletas inscritos no absoluto leve.
Continua, Erich, continua. 6 minutos agora.
Apresente-se na área de aquecimento com a corredora 2. Atenção, Júnior 2, azul, absoluto, pesado.
Perfeito.
Júnior 2, azul, pesado, dirige-se à área de aquecimento.
Começa a nova aí. Começa a nova aí. Pode ser essa. Essa é boa. Isso. Ó. Levar montando. Eu quero o ritmo, tá? Lembra aí. Lembra do nosso propósito. Eu quero o ritmo.
O Vitória põe na direita dele, bem. Isso aí. Paciência, paciência. O Vitória põe aqui fora dele. Aí.
Pra lá também é boa, tá? Bora.
Paciência aí, baby, sem emoção. Não precisa resolver de uma vez. Fica aí. Se ajeita, porra. Bota pra baixo. Vou botar pra baixo. Puxa pro meio. Puxa pro meio. Puxa pro meio. Paciência pra derrubar. Na hora que derrubar, vamos acelerar.
Liga nessa mão, velho. Liga nessa mão. Atenção na hora de cair, hein? Liga nessa mão, velho. Isso, moleque. Boa.
Ó, bem. Escuta, sem emoção, pô. Vamos.
Boa, vamos. Vambora. Bate então. Isso, bate tudo. É isso. Amassa, moleque.
Vamos lá, Scooby. Não pode jogar de segundo agora. Tem que botar pra jogo. Isso aí. Tem que botar pra jogo, Scooby. 7 minutos. 7 minutos.
Isso, ó.
Bora, Scooby, vamos ter que pôr pra jogo, bichão. Bora. Aí, ó.
É isso, é o que a gente queria. É isso. É isso. É onde você queria. Perfeito aí. Eu quero que você pense lá no segundo movimento, onde você levar. 6.
Cuidado com a batida pra tua esquerda, Scooby. Aí, ó. Aí mesmo. Bora. Cuidado com a batida pra tua esquerda, Scooby.
Conseguir entrar embaixo, pode entrar. Conseguir entrar embaixo, pode entrar.
Aí. Aí é bom, hein?
Decolado no quadril, pé da lapela. Vai afastando um pouco mais. Afasta um pouco mais. Isso.
Vontade da luta, escuta.
Continua.
Volta o peso, volta o peso. Boa, boa. Vamos. Bora, agora, escuta. Deixa ele arrumar não, pô. Bora, bichão. Escuta. Vamos lá.
Quando você conseguir, ajusta o pé na lapela.
4h20, ó. Coração de campeão, porra. Até o final. É a última, porra. Vai. É a última, escuta. Vamos lá. Vai ter que botar volume. Vai ter que botar volume, velho. Vamos.
Quando começar a movimentar, você abre. Quando ele começar a abrir, você abre.
Agora.
Ele vai começar a abrir, você abre. Pode manter, tranquilo. Quando ele começar a abrir, você abre. Tranquilo. Tranquilo,
3h40, tá?
tem pegada firme. Quando começar a abrir, começar a movimentar, você arma ela. Não deixe essa mão girar, tá? Pegada forte. Só mais 3 minutos. Eu quero a pegada sempre forte. Boa! Boa! Ó, isso! Para!
Bora, escuta.
Vantagem.
Escuta. Vamos ter que topar jogo. Bora. Ó. 3 minutos de tiro. Da vida, pô. Vamos. Até o final. Ó.
Quando raspar, faz o ponto.
Vamos afastar e passar por fora. Bora, escuro. Precisa controlar a distância e passar por fora, escuro. Por cima do braço, pé por cima do braço.
Eu quero que você arma ela. Assim que aí fica confortável. Você vai armar ela assim que começar a movimentar.
Boa. Agora. Bora. Essa é a blitz. Essa é a blitz, esse é o ritmo.
Ótimo. Ótimo.
Bora. Essa é a blitz, esse é o ritmo. Vamos, escuro. Boa. Vai. Vai. Vamos chegar, porra. Vamos chegar. Bora, bichão. Aê. Vamos. Chega. Vamos de novo. Escuta. Esse é o caminho. Vamos, vamos.
Bora, Erich. 2h20.
Bora, escudo. Já vai descansar, velho. É a última.
Um pouco melhor,
Vamos sair daí sem nenhum arrependimento, porra. Deixa tudo aí. Bora, bichão. Ó. Vamos dar tudo. Vamos dar tudo. Sai desmaiado, porra. 2 minutos. 2 minutos.
Um pouco melhor, Erich. Ele vai começar naquele ritmo que a gente gosta. Aquele ritmo que a gente gosta.
Boa, escudo. Bora, escudo.
Ajeita, Erich. Faz pegada, Erich. Ajeita. Isso. Vai começar agora. Vai começar agora. Vai começar agora. Chega com a mão lá na lapela do outro lado.
Vamos, escudo.
Isso.
Bora, ritmo, escudo.
Vai chegando, Erich. Pé mesmo, você vai tirando. Bora, pegada. Vamos. Vou falando tudo.
Escobideiro. 1 minuto. Agora não tem mais técnica não, velho. É vontade. Bora. Liga a máquina e vai, bicho.
Isso, vai chegando. Tranquilo, continua, velho. Continua lutando.
Aê, aê. Combinação, escudo.
Agora é a hora.
Tá fazendo movimento isolado. Tem que combinar, porra.
Chegou. Pegou nela, Erich. Pegou nela aí.
Escovideira, pisa no antebraço dele, estoura essa
Pegou
pegada.
nela aí, ó.
Bora, bicho.
Pegou nela, vamos. 30 segundos. Boa, boa, segura. Mantém. Só mantém, só mantém. 30
Vamos,
segundos.
escudo. Bora. Bora. Último tiro, chega.
Quadril no chão.
Bora, corre, 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 corre. Vem.
Mantém, mantém.
Ai, que raiva. Ô, escudo. Eu tô bem pra caralho.
O campeão brasileiro 2025, faixa preta absoluto, Erich Munis, da Academia Sul.
And then it looks like he tapped out.
Will all professors and athletes who are not competing, who are part of the award ceremony, please report to the main table now. Will professors from Novu Yao, Dreamart, Atos, and GF team who are part of the award ceremony, please report to the main table now.
deu.
Not let that happen. And now, let's get to the super heavy division. We have here maybe the star of the tournament, Erich Munis, which is also in the finals of the Absolute, in the blue gi, already pulling guard, trying to make his guard game.
Against Vinicius Liberati.
Which had an amazing run last year.
Yes.
He had an amazing run.
He lost the finals to Adam last year in the heavyweight division.
But keep it in mind that he didn't just lose the finals, but he was playing extremely well against Adam.
Yes.
Extremely well.
Yes.
He was shocking to me how good he was last year.
But then that sequence hit. That sweep into the guard pass, into the mount, into the submission.
Yep. That's the thing, 6 minutes into the match with Adam Warzinski is death, You see, that's the thing. Last year, I was commentating and saying how Vinicius is so patient, so calm. Look how he fights so calm and so patient. So I thought he could have gone a division down, because he doesn't use a lot of energy on his matches. He's just so technical.
Yeah. Actually went up.
But then he went up, Maybe he's thinking, oh, you know what? These big guys, they're not as technical, so I'm going to win on that. Man, you're wrong, because you're fighting maybe one of the most technical, if not the most technical guy of today, which is Erich Munis. So, and it's not in the finals, it's in the semis. So, but really nice job, because most people here with Erich, they have a hard time preventing Erich from setting up his grips. And Erich right now trying to come up on a single leg. Look at Vinicius already falling down, trying to close the guard. But both of these guys are very patient. They're playing really smooth jiu-jitsu. If you like smooth jiu-jitsu, this is the match to watch, because Erich always plays like this. There's not a lot of explosion or speed. It's not that he's slow. He just plays on the perfect pace, both on bottom and on top. And Vinicius is very similar. Samir, talk about the position that they have right there on this one-legged X, kind of modified.
Yeah, that's actually a good position for Liberati, how he has the control of the far leg. And that's one thing that I do a lot, and I tell my students, like, when we get a single leg X like that, trying to control the far leg is a really good way to go. And that's actually, that was a good transition to the back there, but that was lack of control there. That was good. It's a good tilt sweep.
You don't see that often against Erich. Oh my God, this man's just swept Erich Munis.
That's very good tilt sweep.
I was thinking that's not smart, to going super heavy and facing Erich Munis. But actually, Erich Munis might be the one guy that will play into his game, because it's technique against technique, And we're really going to see who's better at jiu-jitsu in this match. Oh, nice transition to the modified honey hole here. This can be a really good attack. Nice transition again to the one-legged X. both of these guys, look at this other side, because
Did you see
the weight
that
on the,
switch? That
yeah,
was
the weight
beautiful.
was in the other side, so he switched
And
the legs.
he does a switch as well, so he can have both pen control. He has a pen control on one side, and when he switches to the other side, now has control both legs. He hits that a lot. I seen
Yeah,
him.
and the way to kill that, it usually is to place both knees on the mat. But if you do, I mean, the opposite knee on the mat, that it doesn't have the single leg X. But if you do that, you expose your back, right? Because it allows your opponent to cross the other leg over your body. Erich Munis comes up on top. They're not really fighting to stay on top that hard, because what they're trying to do basically is trying to get a sweep into a good position, right? And sometimes when you fight too hard, you end up setting up the pass for your opponent. So they accept into their own guard. Look how Vinicius can get the sweep back again.
And they're back to back.
Keep it in mind that these guys have trained together many times, you know. They are from different teams now, but they have trained together multiple times, so they know each other's games. Well. Yes. Guys, it's hard to say what's gonna happen here, because both of these guys are very, very versatile, and you really just don't know what they're looking for against each other, you know. And sometimes playing your own game might not be the best, since they know each other. You know, maybe sometimes it's better to switch a little bit. You see that they're not playing the same game at all this whole fight, you know. Vinicius was trying to play with the lasso initially when he was on bottom. Now he's doing a completely different game. This is more of his game, right? By the way, you know, having the pen grip de la Riva. But doing that to someone that is taller than you is usually harder. Vinicius is usually the tallest guy when he fights, but this type of game sometimes it's hard to play with someone that is taller than you, in case you're trying to move them to the opposite side of the de la Riva, right?
He's trying to get to that single leg X
close guard?
again.
Is he trying to get to the close guard position? I thought I saw his hips trying to get up and both legs on the outside.
He's trying.
Oh,
he got to the single leg X.
Yeah, nice transition here. And this is a really good position, but it's better when your opponent is standing. Now, if Erich takes the hand off the floor, he does get swept there.
Yeah,
okay?
but you can see that how tall he is, and he keeps the leg away, the arm away. I'm sorry.
This is a nice transition, placing the hips on the floor. You see, because it allows, to counterattack. Nice berimbolo transition, but it's not tight. It's not tight. Vinicius has to bring the left leg towards the floor. Oh no, on the front of Erich's body. That's not where he wants it. That can set up the leg drag, my friend. And Erich knows that. So if he locks the triangle there on the legs and not allow, which he just did, and not allow Vinicius to cross the leg to the 50-50.
He brings the leg down there.
Yeah. Oh, now Vinicius is being able to remove the leg. Both of these guys know jiu-jitsu so well. They're so technical, you know. I'm usually calling the shots before it even happens, but look at that, the 50-50, Vinicius did it. Vinicius made it work. I usually call the shots before it happens, but with these guys, so hard. I have to talk so fast in order to even try and call it before what they do, because they know jiu-jitsu so much, so well, you know, and they know that each other knows jiu-jitsu so well that that they need to have that transition. That's why they keep on transitioning from guard to guard, from grip to grip so fast, and not allowing their opponent to be comfortable in any position.
I like that position a lot, Kyle. Like the preventing, how Erich's preventing the 50-50 by having his knee open there.
Yeah, with the hips away, you see him facing away from Vinicius, okay?
Yes.
If Erich has the hips facing towards Vinicius, then Vinicius can cross the leg into the 50-50 again. Oh, nice transition with the leg there, but Vinicius already set up the guard defense.
Very good.
Man, these guys are so good. These guys are so good. It's almost like effortless for both of them, you know? Erich is really good on top, but his guard is definitely his best part of the game. And Vinicius' guard is really, really good, but Vinicius don't really care about playing guard or top. Nice coming up, but this can set up a back take. Okay, so that's even. Referees will make them tie their belts back again. Neither of these guys are tired. You know, they're exchanging a lot of techniques. Obviously, there's some energy that they're wasting there, and their heart must be beating fast because it's the semifinals of the Worlds.
42.
Man, how crowded this place is.
1 minute and 45 seconds left.
The camera is not showing really how crowded this place is. It has one side one small side that is open is where the camera is facing, but everything else is incredibly packed. Incredibly packed here.
If Erich
at the
pulls guard,
iconic pyramid.
If Erich pulls guard, and which he does,
that's going to be almost impossible.
Vinicius is going to have a hard time winning this match.
That's going to be almost impossible, yeah. Vinicius, that's what I was saying. Like, he plays guard so much better, but at the same time, he's comfortable on top. Like, he's playing old school Adam Warzinski, where he doesn't care what his opponents do, you know. But look at Adam, he's so good now with the rules. And you know, it's like, imagine if you play soccer without knowing the rules. You can be the best player in the world, you can be Ronaldo, you can be Messi, but if you don't know the rules, you know, you'll never reach your full potential. And it's not that he doesn't know the rules, he just doesn't want to play the rules.
So here comes his notable double lasso. The impossible guard to pass. Erich.
Look at Erich, how his hand was like in the air, like, okay, you know, I'm so comfortable here. You're not gonna pass. You know, my guard retention is so incredible. And he's right. You know, if you want to pass Erich, guys, you are really gonna have to reach a position that most people don't. You know.
Yeah, he's trying to set up the double lasso.
Look how his hand is on the air, not really caring. Like, who plays guard with only one grip? You know, it's rare to find this. And I think that's it, huh? Erich closed the guard. Both of these guys are probably friends, I believe. And now, yeah, good job, both guys. Really technical match here. You know, amazing way to see jiu-jitsu, you know. And this is a proof that you don't have to use all your energy, all your strength to actually be active in jiu-jitsu, you know. These guys was such an active match. They didn't stop in any single position, transitioning from guard to guard the whole entire time, but barely using any energy. Amazing, incredible.
Great match, very technical, great sweep exchanges, gaze controls. Liberati with
2025 Brasileiro final. Nolan's been having a heck of a year. Won gold at the 2025 Pans. Erich won double gold at the 2025 Brasileiros. And now going for his 5th IBJJF Black Belt World title. Also will face Gutenberg Pereira in the open class final later on today. That'll be our last match of the event. But first, super heavyweight. Nolan representing Brea Jiu-Jitsu. Erich representing Soldiers Jiu-Jitsu. Double guard pull to start this one off.
Yeah, no surprises here starting off with this double guard pull. They're just probably about to run out of time unless... Looked for a second there like Nolan was taking top position, but not quite. Oh, he does. Okay, they've awarded him the advantage for taking top position.
Oh, Nolan trying to dive for a knee cut.
Wow. There's a lot of aggression coming forward there, but if you notice what saved Erich Munis was that left hand on the pant grip. Very smart, and uses that to sweep now and come up on top.
Erich comes up into the collar sleeve of Nolan, who lifts Erich Munis.
Wow, big overhead action with both feet on the hips there. Comes into close guard now.
Nolan coming into this match aggressive, diving for that knee cut. Trying to answer back. Trails Erich Munis by 2 points. So in their match at Brasileiros, very close match. Erich was trying to pass the guard of Nolan for the majority of the match. Ended up getting an armbar in the last minute of the match.
Was it from a passing flurry, or was he already passed solidly?
Yeah, it was
so
from
a scramble.
From a passing flurry, but Nolan was doing such a good job with his guard. I was really impressed with his retention, his attacks. So Erich has incredible passing.
Another overhead extension there from Nolan. It's interesting how Erich is able to stay so balanced even when completely lifted into the air, right? Brings the feet to the hips, pops them straight up. That position can lead to overhead sweeps, but it can also lead to a lot of submissions, arm bars being most notable there. Toriano action from Erich Munis.
Erich's got that cross grip with his left hand.
Yeah, you can hear Nolan's corner calling, watch that Toriano, you know it's coming. Yeah, another thing that you're hearing from Nolan's corner is posture control, right? And so you can see he adjusted his right hand up to the collar even deeper. He just made one more adjustment. Erich went to break that grip as well. Look at both of his hands trying to break that grip off, because that's a huge part of the guard passing journey, is being able to control your own posture. And so for the guard player, especially someone like Nolan, who's really great omoplata attacks like you talked about earlier, Danny, if he can get your head down low, that's the best case scenario for him. Especially someone like Erich Munis, because he is so long that when he does stand up and posture up and his head is far away, very difficult to attack him in any way. Again, there you can see big focus on the posture, right hand on the collar. We saw him playing a lot of collar and sleeve earlier with the left foot on the hip and right foot on the bicep, but he actually has a De La Riva hook now on the left side, or did for a moment.
No grips right now. Nolan makes a grip on the collar. Erich trying to step on Nolan's ankle.
Yeah, you can see Nolan's really not a fan of that. He uses the other foot to kick Nolan's leg off, or to kick Erich's leg off, which, to be honest, we don't see that often. When we see the stepping on the shin, passing a lot, we see it a lot from the Rotolos, and a couple other people are really notable with it. But what we saw from Nolan was interesting. He actually took his other foot and kicked Erich's leg to get him to step off of his foot. And in theory, that's a really great idea, right? Because it's very powerful. But I also wonder if it's dangerous, because then both of your legs are tied up in the same position, really. Or they're both busy, I guess is a better way of saying that. Kind of leaves your hips open.
5 minutes, 45 seconds remain. Super heavyweight final. Erich Munis looking for his 5th black belt world title. Nolan aiming for his 1st.
There we see some good outside pressure from Erich.
From Erich Munis.
Almost worked his way around.
Wow, Erich
past
tucks his head under the leg.
Just for a moment, though, and Nolan's bringing those legs back inside. Beautiful recovery, but it's going to earn Erich an advantage here.
Right back into a guard pass.
Man.
What timing from Erich Munis. Incredible. Gets past the guard of Nolan Stewart. The timing on that pass was unbelievable.
So interesting, because he went for the same thing one more time, but this time the timing was so perfect, it seemed, that even Nolan was just kind of like, okay. He just dropped his leg and kind of stopped the retention there and stopped the fight, because I think he knew, he was pretty solidly past at that point. So it's just interesting to see, like, if you're looking at the mindset of a competitor, what goes on there when something is executed so perfectly timed. And we also see 2 more points added to the board for Erich Munis from a knee on belly. He has the lapel behind the armpit as well. You can see his left arm pulling that lapel deeper and deeper. That really acts as an underhook to keep Nolan's left shoulder stapled to the ground, which is what he wants. Putting a lot of pressure there with the right shoulder as well. See him coming to knee on belly one more time, trying to eke over to the mount, but Nolan's actually able to bring his right knee in the middle and get some recovery going there with a butterfly hook.
Nice recovery by Nolan Stewart, but it's a 7-point lead for Erich Munis with a sweep, a guard pass, and knee on belly.
Nolan hunted up for a omoplata there for a moment as well, and now shifts to close guard. Nolan's corner is calling for some arm drags here and maybe a change of approach. 3:45 left.
Still blown away by the timing on that guard pass. Erich went for a really strong pass attempt. Nolan recovered and then almost like lulled him to sleep a little bit. Went for another Toriano and passed the guard.
Now earlier, if you were with us during the semis, Nolan had an incredible match in the semifinals against Marcos Carrasino and had Marcos Carrasino in an omoplata for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so. I mean, it went on and on and on. I was blown away that Marcos Carrasino was not finished with that omoplata, or at least swept. He rolled him over multiple times. He had a lot of crank on the shoulder. But you were mentioning earlier, Danny, we've seen a couple of looks at it in this match, a couple of attempts that's a favorite position of his. So definitely a big collar sleeve guy, and he keeps fighting back to that same position, but it seems Erich has been able to find an answer to that question now. And again, just heard Nolan's corner calling for a collar sleeve, omoplata, and armbar. You know, he's asking for the same thing again here. We just saw a penalty awarded, but then taken back, and that was towards Erich Munis. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the penalty was re-added for Erich Munis for not approaching the guard. Obviously not hurting him too much. He's still leading by 7 points and looking to pass again here. He's got a staple on the bottom leg with his foot and his hand on the pan on the same side. Interesting position here. Nolan has his right foot on the far cross bicep and both hands on the same side sleeve. And again, he can't bring his left knee up because of that staple in the pant grip, which is very frustrating for a guard player. He wants to be able to bring his left knee up. The closer his knees can be to his elbows, the stronger his guard retention is going to be. So
remaining. 1 minute, 20 seconds remaining now between Erich Munis and
just under 90 seconds.
Nolan Stewart.
See a strong grip here from Erich Munis on the pants, keeping Nolan's hips elevated, keeping him stacked. Nolan pulls that sleeve, and he has an underhook on his left side as well. I think of Erich's legs, but he pulls that out and switches back to the sleeve.
Good position here for Erich Munis.
Almost looked at another pass there, but Nolan was able to bring his left foot through to the lapel, actually. Looks like
pinning that leg to the mat. "30 seconds left. Erich Munis well on his way to his 5th IBJJF Black Belt World title. "20 seconds, and it looks like Erich Munis is going to hold on.
See a last-minute attack here from Nolan. Switches the leg over to 50-50, but as the time runs down, a 7-point lead and almost passing again is Erich Munis, your super heavyweight champion for 2025, his 5th world title. He takes it very dominant fashion as well.
Sweep, guard pass, and knee on belly earned Erich his 7 points. He's your 2025 super heavyweight champion. Last year, Erich won gold in the absolute division. Didn't take gold in the weight class. No, was really wanting double gold coming into the 2025 Worlds. He's halfway there.
He's going to have a big challenge ahead of him with Gutenberg, right, who we're going to see next in our ultra heavy final as well.
We're back on mat 1 at the 2025 IBJJF Crown presented by FloGrappling. Paulo Lanzalotti taking on 2-time crown champion Erich Munis. Erich and Gabrielli are the only competitors at the crown who are going for their 3rd crown titles. They both won the crown in 2023 and 2024. Erich, the #1 ranked black belt male in the world right now. He is on top trying to pass the guard of Paulo Lanzalotti, who accepted this crown invitation on very short notice. Joined this bracket about 2 days ago.
It's one of those calls, though, Danny, from the crown. How are you going to say no to the crown? Okay, the crown calls you. The crown calls you. You answer. You show up. You come and fight in one of the most outstanding brackets of the year, for sure. And what's really fun about a lot of our athletes is that they definitely stay ready year-round. I mean, these guys and gals are competing all the time. And in jiu-jitsu, it's very interesting because we do have like a pretty distinct gi and no-gi season. But as I say that, you know, we're technically in no-gi season for the most part, but the crown is taking place right now. So really these guys and gals compete year-round. They stay ready all the time, whether they're just training in one discipline or both. And so I'm sure he was happy to get the call and show up. And what can't ask for more than a first-round match with Erich Munis, right?
Erich, the reigning absolute world champion, won the absolute division in 2024 and 2025. He's won the world a total of 6 times.
Look at that grip he has on the sleeve with his left hand threaded through the leg. That makes it very difficult to keep your elbow and your knee connected in order to retain your guard or try to recover your guard. Because he's able to keep your arms straightened out as he smashes your knees together. But as I say that, Lancelotti does have both of his feet on the inside of the left lapel of Munis. Now, he may not be able to attack here right now, but it could, in certain cases, be able to be used to recover and retain guard and keep from getting past. But as I say that, it gets broken, and Munis continues to climb towards the head and past now the leg line, the hip line, and all the way past the guard of Lancelotti. It's looking like he's going to have some submission opportunities as well. A big grip here on the head. He's going north.
He's going for a north-south choke.
Oh, this is super tight, Danny. You can tell because he's really confident in his ability to clock north. But as I say that, Lancelotti is actually able to recover.
Don't see that submission all too often at the highest level of black belt these days.
Especially in the gi.
Yeah, but
right?
that looked, exactly, but that looked very, very tight from Erich Munis.
Look at his right knee and shin. He's going to use that to clear the grip of Lancelotti's left hand that was reaching towards the pants. Trying to create some frame and some distance here because we know Lancelotti needs to be able to turn on his left side, needs to be able to bring his knees and his elbows together in front of Erich. So Erich doing a great job, not only with his crossface, but also with his left hand that was blocking the hip. Switches to the other side of side control now. And look how Erich uses the length of his body to control the hips and the chest at the same time. I think this is one of the things that makes his side control in north-south so difficult to deal with because he controls the upper and the mid part of the body simultaneously. Makes it so difficult for someone to turn on their side. Almost looked like he had a bit of that the Americana trap with his legs for a moment.
Erich has a very deep well of submissions that he can pull from. Some really nice arm bars from the side control position that he uses quite a bit in competition. Walks back to north-south.
Look how he's pinning that far shoulder down. He's going to open that lapel up. Let's see what he's going to go to from here. He opens the lapel up. Looks like he's trying to thread it behind the head, but Lancelotti's really going crazy trying to get on his left side. And look at how he uses that lapel to enforce his crossface. That lapel is so nice because what it does is it keeps Lancelotti's right shoulder pinned to the ground the same way an underhook would. So you don't have to use your right hand as an underhook, and you can actually pass it around through, which I think he's looking to do, and you can use it to finish different cross-collar chokes from here.
He's got super deep grip now on the lapel with his left hand. Makes an adjustment, makes it even deeper. Puts the pressure down. Three more points for Erich Munis. Now leads 6-0. Gets the submission over Paulo Lancelotti. That's going to do it. The 2-time crown champion and 6-time world champion Erich Munis moves on. Beautiful performance can see Erich's wife and his baby looking on. Erich really dominant in his first round match.
Man, what a fun division, Danny. I love these crown divisions because it brings together athletes from different weight classes than, like at the Worlds, for example, than you would normally see. Super fun here to see Erich Munis versus Marcos Carazinho in the semifinal match here at the Crown. Marcos and Erich both came through with a first round submission in their opening matches here today at the Crown. Both looking really dominant and excellent.
Carazinho got a really nice choke from the back. Erich had a lapel choke to advance to the Crown semifinal.
Oh, Erich right in there on that pole, shooting right underneath the guard of Marcos Carazinho. Marcos kind of popped back there to regain his posture. And on that topside collar, Erich threading that left leg over the top to defend against that collar grip so the knee cut can't come through.
Lasso control for Erich Munis, looking for the second sleeve grip. And Erich gets into the close guard against Marcos Carazinho.
One of the things about Erich's guard is that with his length, especially with any sort of weight disparity like we have a little bit here in this matchup and in this division, with his length, as soon as he gets into his guards, whether it's, you know, his X or single leg X, which he uses a ton of, he's able to stretch people out so quickly and create these off balances where people just seem to fall over. Like, it's so hard. But Marcos Carazinho is a great matchup for that because he is so like great in those scrambles, right? He's great at staying on his feet. And I was saying in one of his earlier matches, his gas tank is so funny to me because he'll be looking like almost like he's getting fatigued, like in his face, but his body does not tell that same story, right? He just keeps moving no matter what, he keeps going. So it's really fun to see him in these scrambles that come up from wrestle ups or takedowns or things like that. And it makes for a really fun matchup between these two guys. And it's just about 2.5 minutes, you know, we're starting to see that. They're warming up, they're getting a little bit more active here, and there's still 0-0 on the board, so it's anyone's match. Yeah, we see some of the length at play. Look, Erich is able to completely almost invert and turn upside down with his legs still inside. Oh, there we go. Starts to elevate that leg on top, bring it over, bring Marcos's right leg over the top of the body. You can see him trying to kind of sit back to his left hip to suck his foot back so that Erich cannot get underneath him, but not enough. Erich is able to come up on top and start to put Marcos down, but not out of the game just yet. As we said, these scrambles, Marcos is so good in these positions. Erich, though, you can tell his experience, his maturity here in the strategy. He's not rushing to jump on top. He's not trying to throw him around. He really secured those grips on the lower part of the pant leg and on the collar so that when he sat him down, he could absolutely secure the position on top.
Beautiful technique, putting him back down on the mat, right into the side control position, scores 2 points for that sweep. And that was a great example of what you were talking about earlier, Erich using his length to stretch his opponent out, come up on top, and get the 2 points.
Erich now in knee on belly is going to add some points there to the score. He's awarded an extra 2 points. Strong crossface here. Might go back to knee on belly, can use this to inch his way to the mount, of course. And the rule with knee on belly points, if you're a little bit newer to IBJJF rules, is If you are removing and placing your knee back on your own, you won't continue to rack up points. But if you're trying to stay in knee on belly and your opponent forces their removal and defends, and then you come back to knee on belly for another 3 seconds, then you'll add those points back. Strong crossface, and he has passed the lapel through, it looks like, on the other side. I believe Marcos is right. Lapel is in the hand underneath the armpit of Erich, and if so, that would be really reminiscent of what happened in his earlier match. The really cool thing about that grip with the lapel is it can be used for chokes, but it also really kind of acts like an underhook on that right shoulder, so your left hand can do other things without having to stay underneath the arm if you wanted to get to work with that left arm in another way. I think Erich Munis might have been called for passivity there. They want him to continue to move
Erich
forward.
jumping over for the armbar.
Oh man, his leg's inside though. Not quite the best position for finishing. It can be done.
Beautiful defense by Marcos Carrozino. Coming up on top.
I'm telling you, Danny, he really just never know what's going to happen with that guy. How many people do you think are in a submission attack from Erich Munis and live to come up back on top into a somewhat neutral position?
Not many.
Not that many. Erich with a really strong 4-point lead now, though, with just 4 minutes left on the clock. Look, Erich even opening his guard. Whoa!
Beautiful sweep to the mount, Erich Munis.
Just makes it look too easy. Incredible. Throws both of those shins behind the armpits and lats of Marcos Carrozino at the perfect time, where Marcos was just a little too comfortable leaning his weight and his posture forward. Rolls him all the way over into the mount. Wow.
And another one of Erich Munis' specialties. We see that from him quite a bit. Gets the posture forward, and before his opponent can post the hands on the mat, pushes him towards the hips, lifts his own hips, comes up into the mount.
And of course, that's going to put 2 points plus 4 points on the board, 2 for the sweep and 4 for the mount. Now maybe looking to use his own lapel, wrapping it over the top of Carrozino's face. Ooh, such a brutal position to be in here.
Well, this is interesting. Erich reached for the lapel under his own leg.
I think he's got both hands now, or both arms for a moment there underneath the head, and really just using his chest to smother Marcos Carrozino, close all of the airways up, not leave any room for survival here. Looking to use his own lapel again, wrapping around. Marcos has looks like a grip on the belt here. He's trying to reach for anything he can to relieve some of this pressure, some of the weight. And it's not always about the weight and the pressure. It's that literally your nose and your mouth, your airways, they get blocked from the gi, from the chest. And so even if there's not that much weight coming down, which certainly there is in this case, but even if there isn't a whole insistence on the pressure, you just can't breathe.
Erich throws his right shin over the neck, gets the armbar. Whew. Beautiful finish from Erich Munis. He's 2 for 2 on submissions. Advances to the crown final. He already has 2 crown titles. He's going for his 3rd in 2025. Makes the final with that submission victory over Marcos Carrozino. It's an amazing armbar finish, the way he threw his leg over the head.
Well, it almost looked like it was
a lot of flexibility.
For sure. It almost looked like he was going to keep choking him too, because the lapel was still in the game right until the last second. But yeah, brutal arm lock, like you said, Danny. And that is going to take him into the crown finals.
Medium heavy, sometimes heavyweight, but jumped all the way up to ultra heavy for this edition of the crown. He's a 3-time world champion, looking to add a crown title to his resume.
Says a lot about his ability to perform too, right? Because like you said, normally medium heavy or jumps up to heavy, but coming in into the final of the ultra division here at the crown, no small feat for Gustavo Batista, and he will face Erich Munis here in the finals. Erich Munis with a strong grip on the belt with his right hand. He's also got the arm dragged all the way across. His left hand on the wrist and right hand was on the outside of the belt, which is a really interesting way to attack that side of the body. There's quite a bit that's available to you when you can control someone's entire arm. It's not quite like a 2-on-1 with no-gi or wrestling, but has a similar effect depending on where you're looking to go. He's looking for the same position, but this time it looks like Gustavo's left elbow is a little further back in the sense that his center line is more aligned with Erich, meaning he's more in front of him. But they might go out of bounds again, it seems.
Hello.
Erich defeated Paulo Lanzalotti and Marcos Carlzinho to advance to the final. Gustavo defeated Elder Cruz and Francisco Papasidero. Both Erich and Gustavo will get penalties, and they'll reset.
Right into shooting is Gustavo Batista, but look at the snapping answer from Erich Munis, really showing his power and his athletic abilities there, snapping, and also his timing, right? Gustavo does get in on the legs of so many people. Erich immediately not only backing out, but trying to snap Gustavo towards his face, potentially go around the back. And now you see him open up the lapels as he pulls into his open guard, passing the lapel around Gustavo's left leg, or right leg, excuse me, and has a really, you can notice that like one of the things Erich does very well is he chokes up really high on the gi, so he's not really loose on like the dangly end. He chokes up really high on it, and it takes away so much mobility from the top player because there's just no space for their leg to move, right?
Gustavo known for having one of the best bases on top, really difficult athlete to sweep. Using that left hand to control the hip of Erich Munis.
The extension, we talked a lot about Erich Munis's his length, right? His ability to off-balance people, whether it's in spider, single leg X, but anytime he can use the length of his legs to extend people, man, he is able to sweep and off-balance people so effectively. And there's also a pretty big height disparity between these two as well, so that makes a big difference when you're looking at the length of the legs, right? Because if Erich's trying to extend somebody on bottom, they can only stretch so far. And so we see people with Erich Munis, oftentimes they end up in these like splits positions, sort of, because they get so extended. And Gustavo, no stranger there. Like you said, he has such a strong base. He's known for having such a difficult time for people to sweep him. And so he does end up in those splits positions quite often.
They have faced off once before in the absolute division of the 2022 Worlds. Erich won that one on points. But just like you were alluding to, their body types are so different, which is what makes this match so interesting to me. Gustavo more of a shorter, stockier athlete. Erich very long and lanky.
Oh, look at that. He's starting to come up here, but his right shin for a moment wasn't quite able to come up, but now he does. He's going to score 2 points. Gustavo looking to answer back, though. Look, Gustavo's starting to come up himself. Both standing here. Whew. Looked like Gustavo was about to sweep him back, but Erich sprawls his leg out and actually Looks like he's coming behind now in the back clinch. Notice the right grip on the lapel as well from Erich. There's a really great control coupled with the grip that he has on the pant. So he's controlling both sides of the body. And you can see Batista, he's looking to grab the hand of Erich on with his left side. Oh man, but not even going to that side. Erich completely switches gears, comes down to the right, but Gustavo right underneath.
Erich scores 2.
I think sometimes, you know, Gustavo is seen as such an incredible pressure passer and so hard to sweep that we forget how excellent his guard is. But his ability to sweep from bottom position is so strong and should not ever be underestimated. We're seeing that, like the transition here. It's not that he's taking so long to set up a technique. It's that in the transition, he finds openings that most people just don't see, especially on someone like Erich Munis, who is so tight and calculated.
Yeah, it's a great point. Gustavo, excellent on bottom. Really good from the De La Riva single leg X. Has great straight ankle locks. And definitely a very underrated portion of his game.
Just under 4.5 minutes here. Erich Munis does have that 4-point lead, so he's quite a significant chunk ahead. One of the things Gustavo is also really great at is not only his submissions from the top, like if he gets into some strong passing positions and goes into arm triangles, things like that, but he also has great knee bars too. And so it's something to look for as he continues to try to go underneath the guard of Erich Munis, especially with those long legs. Man, sometimes for personal experience, the long legs don't help you in the knee bar situations, okay? Get exposed. So that could be part of what he's looking for. Looks like both of these gentlemen are going to be called for passivity, which means there will be a second penalty and an advantage awarded to each of them. A little bit of an exchange there about the grips, and they're going to be right back into the action. About 3 minutes and 45 seconds remain. Erich controlling the top leg of Gustavo. Actually had it with his right hand and switched it to the left. Gustavo's grip with his right hand is interesting to me because we'll see if he tries to pull his right leg out and maybe find both legs underneath in a crab ride. It could be something that he goes to. We've seen him go there quite often, but I think Erich's left hand on the pant grip is preventing that from happening. Look at how he spins. Such a funky position for the knee to be in, but might be able to spin all the way out. It almost looked like he was going to try to attack a cross choke there by bringing his left hand over the top of the neck of Gustavo Batista. His foot is still stuck inside.
The torque on the hip and knee is pretty crazy in this position.
Probably not an uncommon position he finds himself in if he's passing like that fairly often. Probably knows the limits of where he can push his knee, but certainly odd to watch from the outside looking in. You can see, look at his right elbow trying to dig inside to find inside position 2 on the top side. It often can replace the underhook. So if you can't find the underhook with your hand, you can find it with your elbow, and you can open that elbow up and sort of create that wedge that brings Gustavo's left arm above his head. Although I believe, seeing where Gustavo's left hand is, he was able to find the space to get the underhook, brings the lapel to his own hand, and this is a very different position for Gustavo once he has that lapel with his left hand and that underhook. One thing you'll notice about Munis too is he's not rushing this position. There are many people who would get impatient here and they would go crazy trying to kick their leg out. But I think he knows, he's well aware of the fact that if he creates any space for Batista, he has a great guard, he has great recovery, great wrestle ups, great half guard sweeps. If he creates any space, Gustavo's going to do everything he can to be turning onto his right side, most likely, and coming up with that underhook. Or potentially even scooping underneath the left leg of Erich Munis and trying to bring it above his head like an opportunity to come into deep half. It's just funky, though, because he doesn't really have a half guard. He has, like, the top of his foot, so it's a bit precarious.
Erich finally gets that foot free.
And he uses that right hand on the top of the leg to try to guide Batista's knee away to complete the pass, but he's not able to complete the pass at all. And goes right back into the guard, although now he's looking a little bit closer actually on this new attempt. He got all the way around to north-south, forces Batista to turtle to avoid the pass. Guides his hips over the top.
Going for an Ezekiel choke. Erich Munis trying to finish Gustavo Batista in this Crown Ultra Heavyweight final.
Oh, and they go out of bounds there with that submission in play.
.30 seconds left. Erich Munis working towards his 3rd straight IBJJF Crown title. Leads Gustavo Batista by 4 points.
Pulls to guard again, just like the beginning of the match, where he started off strong. Comes in with his right foot in that shallow, it's almost even hard to call it lasso when it's kind of that centered on the chest, but he goes all the way underneath and comes all the way up on top here. He's gonna score another 2 points in the final seconds.
That's gonna do it. Erich Munis wins his 3rd straight IBJJF Crown title. Takes gold here at Ultra Heavy. Tremendous performance for the #1 ranked male black belt in the world. Erich Munis of Soldiers Jiu-Jitsu gets the win.